Okay, going on to Community Garden where Adam does his Q&A. My son just asked me, how is there not a ridiculously gorgeous but scary scorpion in this game? I told him I would ask if you've thought about it. I have. Are we going to get any kind of special first day for the frog dog in the Inverted Mountain? The prologue experience for the Inverted Mountain will be distinctly different from the core game's first story and even the Gambler Chest's recurrent story. I'm not ready yet to spoil the specifics on it just yet, though. So that's interesting. That actually kind of makes it sound like the first day is more tied to the campaign and less to the Node 1 monster. Um, Although I think when you read it, uh, I think you always use the recurrent story or whatever for when you're using Crimson Crocodile, but I could be wrong. Some monsters have strong color affinity. Which color would be Satan? All of the affinities. Will the Pledge Manager reopen on Black Friday? The false messengers are calling me very strongly. Yes, check now. Are the pieces of the rolling armor set from the Dunbeetle Knight going to get updates with either armor or accessory added to them with the coming Campaigns of Death upgrade to the DBK? Why or why not? Nope. A piece of gear does not strictly need to be a piece of armor or an accessory to be part of an armor set bonus. In the updates with Campaigns of Death, will the Warm Virus event also transfer knowledges and or philosophies into the host? Probably not. Testing has gravitated strongly towards not transferring knowledges and philosophies. Balance considerations aside, knowledges and philosophies are also not as ingrained in the survivor's genetic memory as fighting arts. Also, in said Campaigns of Death updates, will Clinging Mist get any changes to help handle it in regards to Ark survivors, or else what differences, if any, exist when Ark survivors undergo a new Game Plus event with the Clinging Mists? Are survival actions lost? Are philosophies lost? Do knowledges they carry into a new settlement added to the new settlement's starting knowledge deck? Answer: Campaigns of Death will address questions of how to start a new campaign with your collection, but will not be discussing Clinging Mist directly. The event is more of a specific exception that ends one campaign and starts another than it is anything else. I'll ask the rules team to provide some additional clarifications for how to play with Ark survivors in Clinging Mist, though. The general gist is that Clinging Mist lets a few survivors start a new settlement, meaning stuff on the survivors stick around, like their gear grids, but rules that are more associated with the previous settlement are lost, like a settlement's innovations, which grants access to survival actions, philosophies, etc. Question: can we get an updated list of all the outstandings with a proposed delivery date, seeing how the schedule has been pushed back, please? With remastered Wave 1 pushed out to Q1 2025, when do you now expect Campaigns of Death to ship out? As mentioned earlier in the update, I'll have a much clearer idea of specific project estimates after Lunar New Year's in February. Question: does any one of the new expansions besides the Black Knight include a Node 3 Nemesis? Nope. The Black Knight occupies a pretty unique niche right now. So that's kind of interesting because it's basically it sounds like your choices are the Black Knight, which is a very, very interesting fight, or the Hand, which is not very interesting. Question: is the Pariah Showdown always a Nemesis encounter, or does it count as a hunt when we go to the Inverted Mountain to kill him? Answer: the Pariah is always a Nemesis showdown. Yeah, I mean, the Black Knight, you go to him to fight him, so that's already been established. That some Nemesis, you go to them. Question: is the Necromancer going to be a monster in the game, or is it part of the Heroes game? We have a few things named the Necromancer. If you're talking about the Necromancer or Necromancer boss models, they are from our generic line. Question: what happens when two settlements find each other? Does the possibility of commerce and cooperation exist, or only invasion? These questions are explored in the upcoming First Hero expansion. What node is the Golden Bat, Adam? Node 3 Quarry. Hi, why not release a PDF of the basic rules free to download? I'd love to read rules right before going to bed, but needs to be put on my iPad. Shouldn't be all scenarios, etc., just basic game. Answer: one of the things I believe in strongly is the holistic experience that a rulebook provides. It is in its totality, it serves as a rules reference, storybook, and art gallery all at once. I fear that the experience just would not be the same if it were separated into parts. So I kind of disagree with this statement because what's happened is all the rules have been copy pasted into wikis that are run by fans, which has created probably even more of a disconnected experience from what he was hoping for because instead of it being all laid out the way he wants it to be laid out, right? If what this person's kind of suggesting is like just a subset of the rule book, um, like what instead you're getting is like, it formatted into a web page and that web page is going to have banner ads for whatever. And, it's not the experience he wants, certainly. So it's weird that he he won't even put just the basic rules out there somewhere. Question. What is the node layout of the Ringtail Fox campaign? Speculation abounds based on the monsters we think we know about already. Even if you have to answer it using coded language, it would be neat to learn. Speculate away, but there will be no new info on this from me today. Wahaha. Will we have at some point a pinup 5 or 6, or is it enough for now? Maybe, though it is not something that is on our docket at the moment. Which of the favorite pinup for each team member? Oh gosh, we've got all sorts of opinions on this one. I'd take too long to take a survey of everyone. People walking by have cast votes for Nightmare Ram female, Screaming God male, Ramette, Goblin Sparrow male, Sparrow Goblin male, Pond Scum Armor, Dungball, Storm Knight Armor, Percival Butcher, and Honeycomb Weaver. I love them all though. Any updates on KDS? When is GCE going to be available for it? I covered this a bit earlier in the update. Please consider releasing some plastic basing bits. The pillar and the stone face from Stone Wrecker's Proto Resin are great. The little extra bits on the Kalenium Butcher release are great, and it seems like might be a little extra bit in the Brave Hollow release. I haven't confirmed this myself. So I just think it would be super neat if we had a full pack of basing bits we could add to our minis to add a little more direct KD flair, like the stone face bases but bits instead. Interesting idea. I'll see what the team thinks. Any plans on creating more settlement event extensions or revamp old events to have the same kind of images as the GCE? Settlement event extensions are a beta concept we're experimenting with right now. If we like how they test, there's a possibility more will exist and will be integrated into mainline content in the future. Why does Lord's Ruin Titus have one bare unarmored leg? He's real proud of it. Is there any way we can buy any of the other t-shirts designs? It's not on our docket at the moment, but I'll see if this is something the community is interested in. Where does the HQ get their boxes? I love the small ones so much. That's great to hear. We personally designed them, after which they are produced directly by our manufacturing partners. Is there a lore reason for why the Golden Bat miniature has a sculpted core insides, or is that just a, hey, neat thing to do for people detail? Yes. Do Screaming God and Ivory Dragon still have +5 lantern years to the gameplay timeline? The Screaming God provides optional rules for how to extend your campaign. Interesting. We have not yet delved deeply into how the Ivory Dragon will impact the endgame of a campaign. Is the Golden Bat sitting on a pile of coins? Does that imply that a type of currency exists? Careful observation of the Golden Bat's details may provide answers to how the monster happened upon its hoard of treasure. Do any of the Indomitable Resource high-level gear for the Dunbeetle Knight in Campaigns of Death have the ability to be calcified? Will any high-level Indomitable gear be possible to calcify? No spoilers on this just yet. In the Inverted Mountain campaign, does the phrasing for apotheosis that the apotheosis also serves as a core role in the story of the people of the mountain intentionally imply that they could be a core fight? No spoilers on this just yet. So that's interesting. I also noticed that myself in the wording of that 2022 Black Friday update. Like the fact that um, Mountain Man is the finale monster, and as far as we're aware, there is no core monster for Inverted Mountain. So that would break from what's become the formula for the game. Um, like, so is it just that this one is a one-off campaign that has no core monster? But I was thinking, like, kind of feels like if they're going to provide a model for this apotheosis guy, like, it's probably going to be used in the game somewhere. So, the fact that he also is like, no spoilers on this, pretty sure that that's the core monster. Like, you're going to fight the guy who's like running your settlement at some point. Actually, what is the exact node layout of the Inverted Mountain campaign is, so we can know where everything slots perfectly. That's an easier way to ask and solve a debate. No spoilers on this just yet. It never occurred to me to ask this before, but is the hand wearing a crown? What are all the monsters that have or wear crowns? Ooh, good question, but once again, no spoilers, sorry. Legendary Card Pack 2. Just being official, this is now in development. Kingdom Death has always been a living game, and the Legendary Card Pack 2 will bring with it Card Pack 2 will bring with it all of the latest errata fixes and adjustments you need to stay fully up to date. Now in development. So, curious to see what's in this and when we're going to get it. I think at one point they said that this would be released with Campaigns of Death and Remastered Wave 2. They've talked about like, all the new game content that's going into like promos of Death and stuff. They're just going to add for free to Legendary or, add as part of Legendary Card Pack 2 so that people don't have to rebuy miniatures they already have. That might have also been the case for the 10th anniversary survivors, but none of this has been confirmed yet. I'm guessing there's going to be some minor rules updates and stuff as well, similar to Card Pack 1. At one point, they said this was going to be kind of an annual thing, but I guess at the rate we're going, I don't even remember when Card Pack 2 came out. Was it 2021, 2022? I forget, but it's been a couple years. Good Time Society. Oh, yeah, we teamed up with Good Time Society to create 3 videos about the Gambler's Chest. The first is a general introduction to the Kingdom Death and the Gambler's Chest. I actually saw these like slip into my recommendations on YouTube on Black Friday, so I kind of felt that, or had a feeling that this was timed with the Black Friday update. Um, I haven't watched them yet. I think they do a pretty good job. I think Becca Scott does a pretty good job doing overviews of games, but obviously this is all like paid advertising, so not really like fan content, but I'll watch it at some point. The second is a quick start guide on how to set up people the Dreamkeeper campaign with a core game and a gambler's chest, perfect for players who've been waiting to make the plunge. And finally, we have one last video releasing next month, really to get into the nitty gritty of how to use all the individual systems within the kaleidoscope of content that is the Gambler's Chest expansion. Thanks again to Becca and the rest of the wonderful team at Good Time Society for the stellar work. Ninjon's Priestess Percival. Speaking of videos, Ninjon painted a gorgeous Priestess Percival as part of the lead up to our Black Friday festivities. You can check it out here. That looks pretty good. I'm not super familiar with Ninjon, but I guess he's a content creator that does a lot of miniatures painting. Painted all this stuff. Rounding out this round of partner content, we have a delightful rendition of 15th Anniversary Lucy, courtesy of Zumikido, another person I've never heard of, but looks pretty good. A Kingdom Death comic. Finally, I wanted to share a work that I hope will surprise and amaze you in the same way that I was surprised and amazed when it first came across my desk. Presenting Phobia the Hunt, a Kingdom Death story by Powell Sandowski alongside a group of other amazing fans. This 35 plus page fully illustrated comic was originally created by Powell with his team as a love letter to our shared passion of Kingdom Death. As a humble creator, experiencing this fan work for the first time was a truly delightful experience. So I'm honored to announce that we are making this project official and funding a continuation. I hope you'll enjoy a singular story of survival in the world of Kingdom Death with excitement and anticipation that it will not end as a single entry. I wonder if this is the same guy. I remember on the Discord earlier in the year, this user posted like a comic panel that they had drawn, and Tastemaker saw it and immediately pinged Adam Poots on it, who isn't super active on the Discord all the time, and Adam told him to reach out and they should collaborate. So I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, but it was really cool what I saw before. It's there before you even draw your first breath. It settles in before you open your eyes for the first time. It scratches and claws its way into your heart, taking pieces of you before you even know there's anything to lose. And once you wake up, the fear is already there. Oh yes, the fear has always been there. Yeah, this was the drawing that they shared, I think. It doesn't just exist, it reigns. A constant, insidious presence that's always there. In respect to Powell Zanowski, I'm pronouncing this, I'm sorry, the creator of this now official fan comic, we are releasing this first issue here for everyone to enjoy. We are funding the second issue and are planning on a print run with some variant covers so that we may fund the rest of the story that he has in mind. The comic has been an awesome, accurate, and charming surprise. I hope you enjoy it as much as we did here at Kingdom Death. Oh, cool. So you can download it today, or you could have downloaded it a week ago if you actually read the whole update, unlike me. So I will download that and read that. Red Witch and Pariah Synergy Key Art. I forgot to put this into the Red Witch expansion spreads. I loved it so much, though, so I wanted to share it. Oh, that's funny. So Nico holding the box for Pariah. And then video game update? Or what is that? That doesn't look like the same artwork from the video game they showed before, but it might be. And then there it is, Nucalope in hard plastic. So maybe we'll see that released sometime next year as the next vignette. And then a lot of question marks, a lot of exclamation marks. Okay, let's see what the big one last surprise is. Um, okay, am I missing something here? It's a survivor, but maybe that's part of the vignette. I don't know. Has this been teased before? I must be missing something. Gratitude. This year started a little differently for me. As the holiday season died down and I returned to work in January, I found myself taking the quote unquote long way over to my desk here at Kingdom Death Studio. I found myself marveling at the cases packed with now hundreds of Kingdom Death miniatures, pausing to thumb through our many display rulebooks and enjoying the messy creative state of our playtest tables. A powerful sense of appreciation bubbled up within me to have the opportunity to create and to grow along with this game world over the past 15 years is hard to put into words. The feeling is warm, gentle, and exhilarating all at the same time. As I speak with peers and bump elbows with people from other industries, I learn more and more that what we have here is really special and quite rare. We are a boutique, and I need to learn how to embrace and cherish that. To Team Death, thank you everyone for giving it your all. I start each morning excited to check in and pester you for all your updates. To our fans, backers, and backers, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for painting our models and sharing them. Thank you for visiting us at Gen Con. Thank you for playing our crazy game. The next few years are looking so cool as we work through and finish up the Inverted Mountain, Abyssal Woods, and the Ivory Dragon. As for the next 15 years, I humbly request your patience and support, an extension if you would be so kind. Let's make it to that Lantern Year 30 starting Survivor set. All right. And then I think I saw he answered some questions down here. Will we get an alternate nightmare tree as part of the core game terrain set? Yes, we are still working on its design. It will not be as complex as the lonely tree, which ended up being so much in tooling we had to turn it into a monster. I was wondering that if that was going to be part of the armor set. Question about roll survivors. Those were shipped as part of that. Yep, they were. More questions about the terrain. Okay. And then just kind of quickly going through the main comments to see if I see anything. Question about Canadian Post. Will remastered Wave 2 be delayed? We'll do our best to address the estimated schedule in February. Question about the philosophies. Just current plan is to get Gatherism out as soon as possible. Let the others two ship with COD. So I'm curious, are they going to ship it separately from Wave 1 or are they going to just bundle it with Wave 1? Just looking through if there's anything else. We're going to get a COD update on Black Friday. Will it have this 1.6 uplift for the 12 expansions? Yes, it will. Hard Jurassic terrain. Painter-sized miniatures for the heliocentrism. Just a lot of questions around, I think, the terrain. And then, okay, so not seeing anything super interesting. Oh, well, okay, someone triggered Adam here. Okay, let's read this one. This one looks like it. Uh, Nick is asking, what's the timeline looking like? Hey, Nick, it's going to be another 3 years for us to finish everything up. If this is uncomfortable for you, I totally understand. Yeah, so that's kind of what I thought. They're going to wrap this up in 2027. That was my guess. And let's see here. This, like I said, something he kind of got upset. I guess someone made a comment about the pandemic. He said, "We are not 4 years removed from the pandemic. It was a very different experience." Uh, yeah, just basically saying that, pandemic was very disruptive. I am looking at 3+ years for all of it. I want to finish probably more than anyone here. However, I'm learning to embrace that we are a boutique and we go at our own pace. We need supporters that understand that and can see the earnestness in our work and our updates. I'm confident in saying that no one in this niche will go to the lengths we do when it comes to artwork, miniatures, and gameplay and playtesting. Estimates are just that. They're estimates. We're doing our best in picking up speed. Don't brew toxicity. Um, just seeing if there's anything else worth noting in here. All right, that might have been it. Yeah, okay, so update is up. All right, so I think we can now say that the update has been read. It was one of the lengthier ones. I think I kind of looked at the length overall, and I think this was like maybe the second longest update he's ever posted for Kingdom Death. Um, Overall, I liked it. There was a lot to take in. I really liked the um, update on the Wave One stuff. I think there was a lot. It's very easy, obviously, to tease more the content that's the furthest along and will be in our hands soon. So it's very easy to get excited about all of this and hyped up about this. I can't wait for Wave One. I can't wait to play with Red Witches, Pariah, Screaming God. It all looks really cool. Um, all the stuff for Silver City, this going down here, all the stuff for Silver City looks like the artwork's very cool. The setting for it is very cool. I do wish that this part of the update did go a little bit more into the details about how dungeons work in Kingdom Death, but like I said, they usually don't get too specific with mechanics. I mean, think about how little we knew about how Ark survivors were going to actually work until we had them in our hands. Um, Even though the systems were teased for like what, 7 years. So they're probably iterating on this stuff, and they don't want to lock down on specific mechanics or rules just yet. But I think we can get the sense at least that, you're basically kind of generating some random dungeon by drawing cards from a randomized deck, and it looks very cool. Um, it's cool to hear that Gatherism is getting moved up in the timeline. Let's just scroll down there a little bit. And all those philosophies look really cool. I do wish they had had a little bit more of stuff about campaigns of death in this update. I know it's still the next wave out, so presumably once wave one is delivered, um, in the first half, let's say, of next year, maybe the first quarter, that, more of the updates will focus on where they're at with campaigns of death and teases around that, along with the other stuff that's coming in Wave 2, at least last we heard, the Honeycomb Weaver, Titan Bee, Pathfinders of Death, all that. But yeah, would have liked to have heard a little bit more about Campaigns of Death, but that's okay. We have time. And then what else? I mean, once we get to the end, this is kind of, just all like the miscellaneous stuff. Uh, like I said, it's cool to see all the progress they've made with the simulation. Um, and looking forward to stuff they continue to add to it. And nothing too interesting came out of the community question and answers. But like, besides kind of inadvertently confirming that Apotheosis, or whatever how you pronounce that, is the core monster, confirmation that the legendary card back 2 is coming. We knew about that. And further confirmation that Nucleope is coming. Oh, and the comic, obviously, that's really cool too. So overall, I give this update an A. And I'm definitely excited about what's to come in next year. And I had a lot of fun making this video series, so I plan to keep making them for future updates, but I will probably just do the whole update in one video as opposed to spreading it out across however many videos this ends up being. So thank you for those who listened along, and maybe you got something out of this. Uh, so thanks. Just one last thing. After I finished recording and talking about the Kickstarter update and all the comments there, I actually went on the Discord just to see if there was anything else posted there by anyone from the team. And it turned out that the night of Black Friday, Adam Poots was just hanging out on the Discord, just chatting with people, and just haven't like stayed there till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And he wasn't even necessarily like answering questions or anything like that about the game or the Kickstarter for the most part. He was just there kind of hanging out, celebrating Black Friday and showing his appreciation for all the fans. He did apparently tease some animation of like the comic from the back of the rule book, and but he took it down after he teased it to everyone. So I didn't get to check it out, but that's cool for the people that were there. Um, like I said, nothing really new came out of that in terms of information. He did confirm once again that he's looking at about a 3-year timeline to finish delivering everything for the Kickstarter, which is what, he said in the comments and what I'm figuring at this point anyways. But anyways, I just thought it was like kind of like just a fun interaction that he had with the community. And then later in the week, he actually went on back again and posted this image just thanking everyone for such a good time he had and overall the experience. So, anyways, I just thought that was a little wholesome and fun epilogue to this whole thing. So, once again, thank you for listening to me ramble about this Black Friday, and I'll be back for the December Christmas update in a couple of weeks. So see you then.